Just a quick thought on a couple of these auto stocks that have moved around today, Mehraboon, like Mahindra & Mahindra and Tata Motors in particular. What's your own sense? And Hero Honda to that as well.
I personally feel Mahindra & Mahindra and even Tata Motors, I think the levels at which they are right now, I think, or they were there 2 days ago, I don't think they're going to fall any further from that. Why I'll remain negative on this particular sector because I'm a little bit concerned on the inflation and the interest rate front and even on the oil price, though it has cooled down a little bit. The fact remains that I don't see them outperforming. There could be sharp bounce backs, it could be a trader's delight, be it real estate, be it auto ancillary, be it with the banking pack which has gone up sharply today. There would be a trader's delight. Short-term traders can move on to them. But possibly 2-3 months later, we would be talking of the same levels at which they were just a couple of days ago. So in terms of investments, definitely the sector is clearly out.
Sure, Mehraboon, hold that thought. We will be closing any second for the markets now. Just about a few seconds left to go actually before we shut shop. And what a day it has been. We will close at the highest point of the day at 640 points, so thereabouts up for the Sensex. The Nifty, good 180 points up at 4167. It's been a blowout sort of a session, there's no question about that. And it's been across the board. If you look at the indices that have led it, real estate 6%, power nearly a 6% gain, capital goods and banks about 5% apiece, as is oil and gas. The Sensex and the Nifty for their part, Sensex are 5% on closing. The CNX mid cap and the BSE small cap index about 3.5% as well. And it's been a very strong afternoon. In fact, the advanced declines are very, very strong. About 7 stocks advancing to every one of the declines. And infrastructure has had a very strong day as well. Stocks like Lanco will close 16% up, JP Associates about 10%. We were just discussing autos with Mehraboon. It's really a star sector today as well. Tata Motors and Hero Honda 8 or 9% up. Unitech and DLF respectively will close 8 and 5% up. Siemens, L&T, ABB, BHEL, all of those stocks. Reliance 5, 6, 7% up for all of these. So it's been a good day. There is no taking away from it. On the way down though, some stocks that were soft included the non-ferrous metals, Sterlite, Hindalco and Nalco. That's because globally commodity prices are starting to cool off just that little bit. So we've had a relatively flattish sort of a day over there. But fantastic move for a lot of these stocks. The IFCIs, GMRs, Punj, Lloyd, UCO Bank, SR Oil, HMT, RCF. All stocks that are played by traders. Godrej Industries on the back of that buyback news. Mundra on the back of its news. 20% up for that stock. So index representations across the board, whether it's large cap, mid cap, small cap, have all had a very fantastic day. I'm sure we had the good cues coming in this morning, but I think what we've got for is probably a little more than what a lot of people would have bargained for.
Yes, Rahul, definitely. And I think we just added up to the pullback that we saw yesterday when we actually saw the drama unfold in New Delhi, and that possibly giving a lot of people something to cheer about. But it's such a newsy week, this one, because we have the big Infosys numbers coming, the IIP numbers coming, the inflation numbers coming, the 3 I's that we've been discussing on Friday. So I'm not too sure whether the sustainability of this is really convincing as far as the markets are concerned. Those 3 things are indicative of not only growth, which way rates will move as far as the central bank is concerned, but also the actual cues given out by corporate India. I know IT is just one segment of it. It is not impacted by the cost pushes or the rate hikes that we've seen, but it is an important indicator of the outlook going forward. And traditionally, we have seen Infosys at least lead the way for IT. Last quarter, we saw Infosys actually lead the way for the markets, for that rebound from the lows that we saw in the beginning of March. This time around, we'll have to wait and see which way the markets actually turn. Mehraboon, really, if you were to stick your neck out and see the markets over the next couple of days, is there anything in the rally that we've seen over the last 2-3 days, that 2 days to be precise, that you say is heartening, which gives you hope that there could be actual value buying that is driving this up?
I think, Mini, how do I put it? The fact is that the levels at which many scripts that come in the market, I think any covering which takes place, or any rally which takes place, I think our technical analyst is going to use this term, and I'm borrowing it from him, that any rally which comes in a market which has been very badly hammered is going to be pretty sharp. I think even today, what is heartening for me is that the Nifty future is still at a considerable discount, indicating that there's a big short position still on. So if we have oil remaining at 135 or possibly cooling off a little bit more, and if we have one more decent day for the global markets, Samajwadi Party comes and says, yes, some more support is expected for the government from unexpected quarters. I think another 400, 500, 600 points rise if it comes in the market. Meaning, I think if you look at the appreciation which we are seeing in a 1 week's time, I think is heartening enough, because if the Sensex has gone up by 10% already, and not many among us is realizing that, quite a few stocks are given returns of over 17 to 20% in less than a week. I think that is news enough which should be heartening for everybody and should make people realize that, well, whatever happens to the indices, there were stocks and there will be stocks even in future which will give you decent scope for sharp appreciation in the short term.
Right, Mehraboon. The volumes today are a little better than what we saw in the pullback yesterday. Yesterday was just about 56,000 crores. Today we have done about 65,000 crores. So the participation has been a little better by about 10,000 crores on good internals, good sectoral performances, good broad-based rallies across the board, and it's been good to see that a lot of these beaten down sectors, like Mini was making the point earlier, whether it be real estate, infrastructure, capital goods, have actually come back. In fact, you can probably club all of them under the same brush with the kind of pain that they have seen, and it's been a very comprehensive performance. Mehraboon, just a quick thought before you leave us. At the end of this earnings season, a lot will happen. Some more clarity will emerge on the political front. There will be a lot of data points coming out of the US. There is a Reserve Bank credit policy meet as well on the 29th, and then of course the overall earnings season. Where do you think we will pretty much be at the end of this earnings season? Which way do you think that the market will be ready to take a direction?
If you're asking me, Rahul, indirectly I think you're trying to put it across. I'm not trying to say that we are tested the bottom. What I'm trying to state is that we are too much concerned about where the bottom is going to be, and possibly there we are losing the all-important opportunity that the market is presenting us with. I am trying to say the same thing, that possibly we will even see a 15,000. I'm not ruling it out, and I know it's nearly 1,000 points away, more than 1,000 points away. But at the end of it all, the fact is that the results are quite good. If the nuclear deal is signed, and quite a few of us, majority of us rather, feel that it's ultimately going to be good for the country. If that takes place, more short covering happens, we will ultimately see a 15,000, and then we will regret over 12,800. But possibly, after the results are announced, I see a lot of downgrades as far as earnings estimates go, despite June quarter results being good. So we may possibly see the market may come down again, maybe by the end of July or maybe early August. We could possibly see the markets come down again. So what I am trying to state is the same thing, that this entire range which we are going to see is going to last for not 3 or 2 months or 1 month, Rahul. I personally feel 12 to 18 months. I don't see the Sensex going about 17,500. On the lower side, 12,000 also is not ruled out. So 15 we may fall back again. Again, people will say, oh, we were always stating it's a bear market, it's just a rally. But at the end of it all, if I'm going to argue on this, whether it's a bear market or just a rally or all those type of things, I'm losing the bigger picture. The bigger picture that valuations in many cases are very, very attractive, and people should just go ahead and buy.
Right, Mehraboon, thanks so much for that. 12,500 to 17,000, that's the range that Mehraboon sees the markets in, and of course that seems to be the consensus view. Watch out for what the earnings look like, not just in Q1 but also Q2 and Q3. Mehraboon Irani from Centrum. But that's a wrap on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.